In the vast expanse of the cosmos, where stars are born and galaxies spiral in a dance older than time, Earth was considered an insignificant speck. To the interstellar communities that traversed the Milky Way, it was a backwater planet in a nondescript solar system. However, Earth held a secret not even its inhabitants were fully aware of, a secret about to alter the course of human history. The event known as First Contact did not happen with the grandeur one might expect. There was no monumental spaceship hovering over New York or a diplomatic party landing in the United Nations Plaza. Instead, it occurred in a small, dusty bar in the middle of Nevada, a place frequented by those who sought the quiet desperation of the desert. The alien, a Zorbian, looked much like what humans would describe as a caricature of extraterrestrial life. Large, opalescent eyes, a sleek, hairless head, and a body covered in what appeared to be shimmering scales. The Zorbian, named Zarlix, walked into the bar under the cover of night, his form shimmering slightly, a visual effect of his species' cloaking technology. He sat at the bar, ordering a drink that to any human would have seemed a simple glass of water. But for Zarlix, it was a complex cocktail of nutrients. The bartender, a middle-aged man named Hank, served him without a second glance, used to all sorts of oddities from his patrons. "Why Earth?" Zarlix finally asked, turning his luminescent gaze towards Hank. "Excuse me?" Hank replied, cleaning a glass. "Why is Earth designated as a Level 8 HellWorld?" Zarlix's voice was calm, almost melodic, but it carried a weight that filled the air. Hank laughed, thinking it a joke. "Level 8 HellWorld? Son, the only hell here is the heat and the occasional drunk who thinks he can take on the world." Zarlix tilted his head, a universal sign of confusion among many species. "But Earth is known across the Galactic Council as the ultimate challenge for any species. Survive here, and you're respected everywhere." Hank stopped, his cloth pausing mid-wipe inside the glass. "You're serious? This is all some kind of test?" "Not a test," Zarlix clarified. "A designation. Earth's environment, its diseases, predators, natural disasters, and even its geopolitical complexities make it a place only the bravest dare visit." As they spoke, the TV in the corner of the bar flickered, showing news of another natural disaster hitting some distant part of the world, politicians arguing, and a scientist discussing the latest viral outbreak. Hank looked from the TV back to Zarlix. "You mean to tell me aliens think we're living in a horror show, and they're impressed by us just sticking around?" Hank's tone mixed incredulity with a hint of pride. "Precisely." Zarlix nodded, his eyes reflecting the neon lights of the bar. "Many species laughed at humans, thinking you weak and primitive, until they learned of Earth's true nature. Now they watch, and some even come to learn." Hank shook his head in disbelief, pouring another water for Zarlix. "So what brings a Zorbian to this Level 8 HellWorld then? Sightseeing?" "In a manner of speaking," Zarlix said with what could be considered a grin if his species did such a thing. "I am here to experience, to understand, and perhaps to teach." "To teach?" As the weeks rolled by following Zarlix's unexpected visit, word began to spread, not through any official channels, but via the rambling tales of drunken patrons who had overheard snippets of conversation between Hank and the mysterious stranger. Soon, the tale of Earth's formidable status in the cosmic arena turned Hank's once quiet establishment into a buzzing hub of speculation and intrigue. Miles away, in a top-secret government facility, Dr. Ava Simmons analyzed the latest set of data intercepted from what they had only loosely termed extraterrestrial communications. The increased chatter about Earth, referenced cryptically as a Level 8 challenge, had caught the attention of more than just barflies and conspiracy theorists. It had piqued the curiosity of those at the highest echelons of global defense. Ava, a leading astrophysicist with a special interest in xenolinguistics, had been tracking and deciphering these transmissions for months. The mention of a Zorbian visiting Earth was unprecedented. Usually her days were filled with mundane data, repetitive signals that seemed more like cosmic background noise than any intelligent dispatch. But now she sat upright, her eyes scanning the luminescent text scrolling across her screen. "Level 8 is not just a rating, it's a rite of passage," one intercepted message read. The source was unknown, But the message was clear. Earth was not just surviving, it was a proving ground, a trial by fire for any species daring enough to step foot on its surface. Meanwhile, back at the bar, Hank noticed the changes too. Among his regulars were now faces he didn't recognize, non-humans who subtly tried to blend in, observing and occasionally interacting with the clientele. One such figure, who called himself Rael, was particularly keen on discussing Earth's various survival strategies with Hank. Rael, whose skin shimmered with a subtle glow that suggested a physiology adapted to lower light conditions, was from a planet where the suns never set, a continuous daylight world. He was fascinated by the human concept of night and day, of sleep and wakefulness. "It's extraordinary," Rael mused, sipping on what Hank had concocted as an approximation of an alcoholic beverage suitable for his alien metabolism. "You cycle through recovery daily. It's an enforced vulnerability, yet it's also a strength. It teaches resilience, the rhythm of the Earth itself." Hank, who had become something of a reluctant ambassador for humanity, shrugged. "We just call it getting some shut-eye. But yeah, I guess it does sort of recharge the batteries in a way." At the same time, Ava, now collaborating with a small, select group of international scientists under the aegis of a UN-sanctioned program, began to piece together a broader understanding of Earth's position in the interstellar community. The various calamities that humans endured were not merely natural or man-made disasters. They were seen as badges of honor, trials that showcased the tenacity of human life. We need to consider the possibility that our planet's harsh environments, our socio-political chaos, even our biological vulnerabilities might be exactly what make us valuable in a cosmic context, Ava explained during a closed conference call. "We've been so focused on how these challenges have hindered us, we never considered how they might also elevate us." As Earth's story unfolded through tavern tales and top-secret meetings alike, the shift in perception about Earth's status had unintended consequences. As news spread across galaxies, more alien visitors, drawn by tales of the planet's resilience and the character of its inhabitants, began to arrive, each with their own motives. Some came in peace, seeking knowledge and understanding. Others saw an opportunity for exploitation, to test their own mettle against Earth's fabled challenges, or to harness its raw, untapped energies. On a cool, crisp evening, under the guise of meteor showers, a small fleet of Curvix ships entered Earth's atmosphere undetected. The Curvix, a race known for their prowess in bioengineering and their mercenary ways, were intrigued by the notion of a Level 8 world. They landed in the dense forests of the Amazon, using the natural cover to hide their ships and begin their operations. Dr. Ava Simmons, now the head of the Earth Defense Research Network, EDRN, received the first alert of anomalous activities in the region. Satellite imagery hinted at non-natural structures and heat signatures that matched no known human technology. Assembling a team, she set off to investigate, aware that every moment could lead to a discovery or a confrontation. In parallel, Rael, who had taken up semi-permanent residence on Earth, found himself increasingly involved in human affairs. His curiosity about Earth's cultures and resilience had morphed into a protective sentiment. He liaised with Hank, who had unwittingly become a central figure in the Earth-alien interaction network. Together, they facilitated meetings, shared knowledge, and now sensed a growing threat. As Ava's team maneuvered through the lush undergrowth of the Amazon, they stumbled upon a Curvix outpost. The site was abuzz with activity. Alien beings clad in high-tech suits were collecting samples, their equipment probing and analyzing the rich biodiversity. Ava and her team watched from a distance, recording everything, the air thick with tension. "Look at them. They're not just observing, they're extracting something," Ava whispered to her colleague, Dr. Liu, who nodded, her eyes fixed on a device siphoning a glowing substance from a tree. Back at the bar, Hank and Rael received a secure communication from Ava's team. The footage was disturbing. The Curvix were not merely passive observers, but active participants, altering the very essence of the Amazon. "We need to act," Rael said, his voice grave. "The Curvix do not respect the balance. They will take what they want until there is nothing left." Hank, feeling out of his depth but driven by a newfound duty, agreed. "What can we do? We're not equipped to handle an alien invasion." "That's where you're wrong, Hank," Rael responded, his eyes glowing with resolve. "Every visitor to your bar, every being that has shared a drink and a story, is a potential ally. You have built a network, not just of acquaintances, but of warriors and scholars." Mobilizing this network was no small feat, but the urgency of the threat demanded swift action. Messages were sent, secret meetings held, and plans drawn. Earth, in all its chaotic glory, was not defenseless, nor was it alone. Meanwhile, Ava's team prepared to engage diplomatically, approaching the Kurvik outpost with a mixture of caution and bravado. Dr. Simmons stepped forward as their representative, her voice steady. "We know why you're here, and Earth is not a resource to be stripped bare. We can learn from each other, share knowledge and grow together, or we can defend our home, as we have done against every threat, terrestrial or otherwise." The Kurvik leader, a towering figure with skin that shimmered like the surface of a star, paused. Its eyes, reflecting 1,000 galaxies, considered Ava's words. The standoff in the jungle, the Kurvik leader, known as Varn, emitted a low hum, a sound that resonated with the foliage around them, causing a subtle vibration in the air. Ava held her ground, her team behind her, equipment ready but not raised in aggression. This was a pivotal moment, one that could shift the nature of human-alien relations on Earth. "Your spirit, Dr. Simmons, is formidable," Varn finally spoke, his voice a synthesis of organic and mechanical tones. "We are taught to respect strength, and clearly Earth harbors strength not just in its environment but in its people." Ava nodded, cautiously optimistic. "Strength comes in many forms. We prefer cooperation over conflict, learning over conquest. What you seek in our biosphere can be shared, but it must not be taken without understanding and agreement." Varn tilted his head, considering her proposal. Behind him, his crew paused their activities, their instruments ceasing their invasive probing of the Amazon's flora and fauna. Meanwhile, back at Hank's bar, a diverse group of extraterrestrial visitors and a few trusted humans gathered around tables cluttered with maps, digital displays, and various communication devices. Rael coordinated the efforts, his familiarity with multiple alien dialects proving invaluable. "We must be prepared for all outcomes," Rael instructed, his voice firm yet inclusive. "The Kurviks are known for their strategic withdrawals only to return with greater force. We must show unity and the readiness to protect our world." Among the group was Talia, a strategist from the aquatic planet Gliese 667cc, who proposed creating a unified defense strategy that integrated technologies from multiple worlds. "We can set up a perimeter of sensor buoys in Earth's orbit. They'll alert us to any unauthorized entries." At the Amazon standoff, Varn finally gestured to his team, signaling them to retreat. "We will cease our current operations. I am authorized to negotiate terms of cooperation. Earth will not be a harvesting ground but a place of mutual exchange." Ava breathed a sigh of relief but remained alert. She knew that the real work, the detailed negotiations and treaties, would start now. As news of the temporary ceasefire spread, Hank's bar erupted in cautious celebration, yet the atmosphere remained tense, the weight of responsibility palpable in the smoke-filled room. "We need to establish a formal liaison office," suggested Lynn, a human diplomat who had been working undercover with various alien delegations. "Somewhere neutral, where representatives from all interested extraterrestrial parties can discuss issues without the threat of espionage or sabotage." The proposal was quickly taken up, with multiple beings volunteering their technologies and expertise to create a secure, transparent meeting place. Earth, once seen as merely a survival challenge, was becoming a central player on the interstellar stage. The days following were a whirlwind of activity. Structures were erected in orbit and on the surface, designed by the best architects from across the stars. These were not just buildings, but symbols of a new era of interstellar diplomacy and shared guardianship of Earth. Ava, now widely respected as a leader both on Earth and beyond, worked tirelessly to establish protocols that respected both human sovereignty and the rights of alien visitors. As Earth's new status crystallized, the interstellar diplomatic channels, now buzzing with representatives from different galaxies, found their home in the newly established Earth Council orbital platform, ECOP. Here, Earth's unique position was further cemented as a hub for cultural exchange and political discourse. The platform, a marvel of engineering, resembled a sprawling city floating in space, each section designed to mimic the environmental conditions of its representative species' homeworld. Ava Simmons, who had been instrumental in setting up the ECOP, watched as delegations from distant planets walked through the airlocks, each group marveling at the human attention to detail. The platform not only served as a meeting place but also as a living museum of Earth's biodiversity and cultural heritage. In one of the high-ceilinged conference rooms, a critical negotiation took place. The topic was sensitive, the sharing of technological resources. Humans had much to gain, but equally much to lose if their technology fell into the wrong hands. Transparency must be the backbone of this agreement, Ava insisted, addressing the assembly. Her voice echoed slightly, a reminder of the vast emptiness surrounding the orbital construct. Each technology shared here must be used for peaceful purposes, to further understanding and protect the sovereignties of all planets involved. Across the table, a representative from the Andromedan colonies, a being covered in reflective scales, nodded. Andromeda agrees. We propose an audit system, run by an independent panel, to oversee the applications of all shared tech. The discussion was intense, stretching into Earth hours, a testament to the complexities of interstellar politics. Each decision had ripple effects, influencing not just diplomatic relations, but also the day-to-day lives of billions across the universe. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Hank's bar continued to serve as a cultural exchange center. Rael had become a permanent fixture, often seen chatting with newcomers, explaining human customs, or mediating minor disputes. The bar's walls were now adorned with artifacts from various worlds, each item a story, each story a bridge between cultures. On one such evening, the bar was unusually quiet. A news feed played silently in the background, announcing the successful signing of the technology-sharing accord. Hank poured a drink for a somber Rael, who seemed preoccupied. "What's on your mind?" Hank asked, sliding the drink across the bar. "It's the weight of these exchanges," Rael replied, his glowing eyes fixating on the swirling liquid. "Every decision we make up there," he gestured vaguely towards the sky, "affects countless lives. It's daunting." Hank nodded, understanding the burden. "But look at what we've achieved, Rael. Who would have thought, eh? A bar owner and a star traveler shaping the future of the galaxy." Rael managed to smile, lifting his drink. "Two unexpected roles and unforeseen futures," he toasted. The camaraderie in the bar was a microcosm of the broader changes sweeping through the galaxy. As Earth continued to assert its place among the stars, its citizens adapted to their roles as hosts, diplomats, and galactic citizens. The challenges were immense, but the collective will to meet them was even greater. As Ava returned from the ECOP to Earth for a brief respite, she was greeted not just as a leader but as a visionary who had seen the potential for Earth to rise from an underestimated planet to a central node in interstellar relations. Her vision for a cooperative galaxy was slowly becoming a reality, influenced by each handshake and agreement, each cultural exchange and shared technology. The future was uncertain, vast, and filled with infinite possibilities, but Earth and its people were ready to meet it head-on, driven by a newfound understanding of their place. In the bustling corridors of the Earth Council orbital platform, the rhythm of diverse footsteps marked a symphony of cooperation that resonated through the vacuum of space. Ava Simmons walked alongside diplomats and scientists from various worlds, each step a testament to the strides humanity had made. The platform was now officially inaugurated, its corridors and meeting rooms abuzz with the languages and colors of 100 different civilizations. On one of the observation decks, a gathering celebrated the newest member of the interstellar community, a distant planet whose unique culture offered fresh perspectives on sustainability and harmony. Ava watched as Earth's representatives exchanged formal greetings with their new allies, the ceremony a blend of Earth's tradition and alien customs. It symbolized the ever-growing tapestry of relationships that Earth was weaving with the galaxy. Down below, in Hank's bar, the celebration was of a different kind. Hank had organized a viewing party for the platform's inauguration. Screens around the bar streamed live footage of the ceremonies. Humans and aliens alike cheered, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the screens, their differences momentarily forgotten in the shared joy. "To the future!" Hank raised his glass, and the crowd echoed his sentiment, a chorus of diverse voices that filled the room with hope and excitement. Meanwhile, Rael, now regarded as an unofficial ambassador for interspecies relations, engaged in deep conversation with a group of young diplomats eager to learn about the intricacies of human culture. Each question they asked and each story he told wove tighter the threads of understanding and respect that were the foundation of this new era. Back on the platform, as the festivities continued, Ava pulled aside a small group for a quieter, more strategic discussion in one of the lower decks. Among them were leaders from the defensive and technological sectors of various planets, their focus on ensuring the safety and security of the interstellar bridges they had built. "We've come far," Ava began, her eyes reflecting the starlight that streamed through the nearby porthole. "But maintaining peace and progress will require vigilance and continual adaptation. We must be proactive, not just reactive." The group nodded in agreement, their diverse faces serious but optimistic. They discussed the establishment of an interstellar rapid response team, a collective of military and peacekeeping forces designed to address potential threats swiftly and effectively, without escalating conflicts. The dialogue was complex, the issues intricate, but the commitment was clear. They were united not just by mutual benefits, but by a shared vision of peace, a peace hard-earned and deeply cherished. As the meeting concluded, Ava stepped back onto the observation deck, her mind buzzing with the plans and possibilities that lay ahead. The stars outside seemed closer now, their light not just a beacon but a guide. Down on Earth, as the celebrations at the bar wound down, Hank took a moment to step outside, looking up at the night sky. The stars seemed different to him now. They were no longer just points of light in the vastness of space, but destinations, each potentially a friend or an ally. Rael joined him, his presence a comfort. Together they watched the sky, their thoughts on the future. "The galaxy feels smaller tonight," Hank said, his voice a mix of wonder and reflection. "It does," Rael agreed, "and yet it's richer than we ever imagined." The story of Earth's ascension to a pivotal role in the galactic community was not just a tale of overcoming adversity, but also a narrative of unity, a reminder that in the cosmos, as in life,